Welcome to Vsb News Online for Monday, January the 5th. I'm Charles Webb. Bermuda's first road death of 2015 occurred this morning when 33-year-old Jeremy Combermack of Sands Parish died of injuries sustained in a traffic collision during rush hour on Middle Road in Warwick. He's believed to have been riding his motorcycle near the junction with Morgan's Road when he lost control of his cycle and struck a car. The police have returned to their previous practice of taking the death of the collision into consideration instead of the time of death. By this criteria, the official number of road deaths in 2014 has been raised to 16. VSB's Adrian Smet was on the scene, and Dwayne Keynes for the Police Public Relations Office made this statement.
At 7:50, police responded to a report of a road traffic collision that took place on Middle Road, just 5 meters west of Morgan's Road. It appears that a 33-year-old man collided with a car traveling in the opposite direction. As a result, that man was taken to KMH, where he later was pronounced dead. Now, no further information will be given until the next of kin has been notified. The traffic collision investigators are processing the scene, and as a result, traffic is being diverted on Harbor Road and to the South Shore roads. Certainly, we had 15 road traffic fatalities last year, and we're at 2 for 2015. Certainly, we consider this a crisis. Some classify it as a national healthcare crisis, with over 150 individuals being lost on our roads in the last 10 to 11 years. The insurance costs have gone up, and indeed the cost to do all of what you see, medical, insurance costs, it's costing us all. And we are not even including the lives that have been changed based on surviving but still dealing with critical injuries. Again, the message is very clear to slow down on the roads. Police have stepped up their enforcements on the road. We're giving hundreds of tickets, but there has to be personal responsibility of those individuals riding and driving cars. Simple bits of advice: slow down on the road. Do not overtake when you cannot overtake. Those are the small things that will preserve you.
Oftentimes you find people are rushing and they overtake you, and then, you know, a couple miles down the road, they're right in front of you. Do you think there's a point?
In Bermuda, we call that the third lane, or coming down the middle. Whilst not speaking to this specific, this collision or fatality, that is a major cause of accidents or collisions in Bermuda, when individuals are actually changing and causing drivers in the car to alter or change their course and direction because they are pulling up and creating the third lane by going down the middle.
Opposition Senator Diallo Rabban suffered a broken leg in a weekend road accident in which a hit-and-run rider is being blamed. Mr. Rabban, the PLP leader in the Senate, may be out of action for 6 weeks as a result. VSB News' Chris Lodge has the story.
Opposition Senate leader Diallo Rabban has been injured in a hit-and-run accident. According to News, the accident occurring on Friday evening at the junction of Front Street and Court Street, leaving him with a leg fracture. In a post on social media, Senator Rabban said he was traveling east on Front Street. Someone decided to try and beat him, turning onto Court Street. Apparently, he clipped the back of the bike, crashing hard. The other driver stopped briefly, but then took off up Court Street. He said he heard a lady tell the officer the license plate of the bike, so hopefully they can find him. Senator Rabban saying it'll take 6 weeks to heal a lower leg fracture. I'm Chris Lodge, VSB News.
The first arraignment session of the new year got off to a busy start in the Supreme Court this morning before Chief Justice Ian Cawley. I spent a part of the morning in the packed courtroom, and here is the report. 3 men and 1 woman charged with attempted murder, wounding with intent, using in possession of a firearm, and being an accessory after the fact had their trial date set for April 27th after pleading not guilty to a variety of counts. Shannon Dill pleaded not guilty on 6 counts involving attempted murder, wounding Lionel Thomas Jr., and using a firearm. He also pleaded not guilty to discharging a firearm, being in possession of a firearm, and being an accessory after the fact. Shelton Baker pleaded not guilty to 4 counts. Stacey Robinson entered a plea of not guilty to 4 counts, while Rashante Davis pleaded not guilty to one count of being an accessory after the fact. The charges stem from an incident on the 30th of April of last year. All the accused had their bail extended until their April trial. All will appear for mention on February the 2nd. Tiffany Dawn Atherley pleaded not guilty to 4 counts of perverting the course of justice on April 14th and 15th in the Supreme Court through giving false testimony and giving evidence with intent to mislead the court. The Chief Justice set her trial for the 20th of April with a mention on the 2nd of February. Her bail was extended until the trial date. Conspiracy to import a controlled drug, possession of the proceeds of criminal conduct, with amounts of over $140,000 were the 4 counts laid against Luke Albert Hill, who pleaded not guilty to all 4. The offenses are alleged to have been committed in March of 2011 and February of 2012 with a person not before the court. Hill will appear for mention on February 2nd, and his bail was extended. Chances of wounding with intent to do grievous bodily harm and having a bladed article in a public place were put to Derek Andrew Weeks Jr. and Javon Dionville Weeks. Both pleaded not guilty and had a trial date set for March 23rd. They too will appear for mention on February 2nd. It was a busy hour and a half in court number 3 this morning, with a slew of defendants appearing in person and on video on a variety of drug importation and conspiracy to import drug charges. For Vsb News, I'm Charles Webb. If you thought the huge cost overrun at the Port Royal Golf Course was a scandal, wait until you see what the previous government did with the Heritage Wharf project. This was commented by Finance Minister Bob Richards when asked by Vsb News' Brian Dalby how we can make sure the Port Royal issue never happens again.
Are there any steps that can be taken to A, make sure that doesn't happen again, and B, that somebody's head might roll?
Well, to a large extent, it's out of my hands as Minister of Finance. It's going to go to the Public Accounts Committee. Whether there is any criminal aspects or elements to it, I don't know. But again, that will be up to the police and the DPP's office. But I think that it is one of those situations where we just have to try to make sure that doesn't happen again. And, you know, that's a classic case where the RFP process that everybody holds up as a holy grail didn't work. It didn't work. So we have to be realistic about what we're doing here. The rules were bent, and it cost the government a lot of money. So what we're trying to do here, in the way we do things, we're not trying to bend any rules behind anybody's back. You know, if we're going to do something differently, we're going to be upfront about it, and we're going to say this is what we're going to do, and this is why we're going to do it. That situation was different. You know, we have similar situations that haven't come to light yet, as it relates to Heritage Wharf. There's a gigantic overruns there, right? Much bigger than Port Royal, and we haven't seen the auditor's report on that yet. But you know, it's kind of gone. You let this thing take its course.
In that case, the opposition are trying to make it your responsibility, but they were the ones that put it together in the first place.
Well, that's kind of the nature of democracy, I'm afraid.
Did you get a bit irritated by that?
I'm very frustrated. But you know, you have to be a mature person and grit your teeth and move forward. You know?
Have you enjoyed the last year?
Not all of it, no. I've enjoyed some of it. Some of it's been frustrating. But I think we've ended the year on the front foot. It's been a tumultuous year, I would say, for the government, for our party. But I think we've come out really strong here in the end. And we've worked hard. We've stuck together under difficult circumstances, and you know, we're ending the year on a high note, and I think the notes are going to get higher next year.
Having been one of the founder local comedians in the first run of Just for Laughs in Bermuda some years ago, local funny man Nadanja has agreed to return to the stage at the Fairmont Southampton Princess this weekend to ensure that the visiting North American Aces of Humor get to see what local competition has to offer. He graced the studios of Vsb News as his 2 evenings of making people laugh approach.
Starting out was not difficult for me, but I really understand how to make someone laugh, and my personal upbringing is no different from yours. Even though we may not look alike, because we're not related, but you know, as far as we know, we're not related. But at the same time, hey man, people can relate to your mother saying something to you as a child, you know, and in different scenarios. So in the past, you know, my material has been about using the bathroom. You know, we all, don't matter what color you are, we all use the bathroom the same way, especially when you're sitting down. So I had this little spiel about that I did at the last time I performed in 2010, and that was a hit. And so for me, whatever is personal to me, that I think is personal to you, that's what I talk about. It's everyday stuff. Like I have this bit about depositing money at the bank. Everybody has deposited money in the bank at least once in their life. And hey, my sister is dying laughing. She can't wait to see it. I can't wait to perform it because it's a new joke and it's gonna go over so well. I'm that confident because if I can make my sister laugh, I can make anybody laugh. She is my biggest critic.
Now, of course, you're making frustrations of life into something funny, and that's a wonderful way.
It's definitely a frustration. I want to tell the joke right now, but then the people watching are probably coming, and then they're not gonna laugh as hard.
Do we go out of our way to find people like you in our community that can make a career, obviously a double career in your case, out of being funny and being on stage and being entertaining and using your creativity? The kids in school, you know there's another one of you in school. What are we doing to get him out?
What do we do about getting the kids out on stage? Hey, they're already on stage. We just don't know about them. Bermuda doesn't create an avenue enough for entertainment. The thing is, I'm glad you asked that question. We as people love to be entertained, but certain companies and people just do not support it financially to keep it going. So somebody like myself, I don't work all the time, but I try to stay working at my craft. You have to go to a school production to see these kids, and they do a fantastic job. And whenever there's one that I hear about, because my sister's a teacher, and I do have friends in the school system, they say, hey, there's a show. They know I like to be entertained. I don't always like to work. I want to sit back and pay whatever the fee is and just enjoy a good night out.
A busy weekend of sports around the island was highlighted by a team losing a cup because of fielding an ineligible player, and big wins in football. Earl Baisden has all the details and the latest from the sports desk.
On Friday, VSB reported that during the Friendship Final on New Year's Day, the Dandytown Hornets fielded an ineligible player. Well, late on Friday night, the Bermuda Football Association announced that due to fielding an ineligible player during the Friendship Final, the Dandytown Hornets will forfeit the match, and the Friendship Final was awarded to Robin Hood. Now to Premier Division football yesterday. At the Southampton Oval, a lone goal by Jesse Seymour helped Southampton Rangers defeat PHC Zebras 1-0 and throw the league wide open. In other Premier Division matches yesterday, Hamilton Parish defeated North Village 1-0. It was Somerset Trojans 1, Robin Hood 0, Dandytown Hornets 3, St. George's Colts 2, and on Saturday night at the BAA Field, it was Flanagan's Onions 4, Devonshire Cougars 2. In First Division play at Police Field yesterday, Devonshire Colts kept their unbeaten streak alive with a 1-1 draw with Crossroads. After a scoreless first half, Kion Smith gave visiting Crossroads the lead early in the second half, but Devonshire Colts substitute Jermaine Bean Lindo equalized minutes before the end. In other First Division play, it was Somerset Eagles 1, Ireland Rangers 0, Paget Lions 2, Young Men's Social Club 1, St. David's 2, Boulevard Blazers 3, And on Saturday night at the BAA Field, it was BAA 7, Wolves 0. Meanwhile, the Bermuda Football Association announced the training squad that has been assembled in preparation for the 2018 World Cup qualifying. A 55-player list was sent out with 28 of the players based off island. 10 of the players are either professional or semi-professional, while 18 others are currently attending school. Nakeem Wells' former Huddersfield Town teammate Oliver Norwood shut down his old club with a vital pass, which secured a 1-0 win for Reading in the team's FA Cup third-round tie at John Smith Stadium. The Bermuda Amateur Swimming Association held a short-course Christmas camp qualifying meet at the Bassa Pool on Saturday, with several swimmers setting personal best times. During the mixed 100-meter freestyle, Jesse Washington recorded the fastest time and also a personal best time of 52.81. Andrew Beveridge was second in a time of 54.83, and Peter Kieran was third with a personal best time of 57.26. Philip Hagen touched the wall in a time of 32.72 on his way to winning the mixed 50-meter breaststroke. Shannon Hassel recorded the second fastest time of 40.51, while Holly Bruton finished third in a time of 43.27. Tyler Smith took almost 6 seconds off his personal best time in the mixed 400-meter freestyle, recording a winning time of 4:33.69. Evans Farrow recorded a personal best time of 4:42.29 on his way to finishing his second. Emma Harvey clocked a personal best time of 28.98 on her way to winning the mixed 50-meter butterfly. Madeline Moore finished second with a personal best time of 29.89, and Jessie Thomas clocked a personal best time of 31.92, finishing in third. The Bermuda Karting Club season continued at the Bermuda Motorsports Park yesterday. Ryan Burgess won all 3 races in the junior cadet class, while Jacob Pereira finished second 3 times, and Neil Bean finished in third 3 times. Ashley Horseman won all 3 races in the junior clone class, with Georgia Thompson finishing second 3 times. David Barboza won 2 of the 3 races in the tag senior class on the day, with Scott Barnes winning the other race. Barboza also recorded a second on the day, while Jason North finished second twice. In the tag junior class, Blake Horseman recorded 2 wins and a second-place finish, while Ryan Lopes won once and recorded 2 second-place finishes. Lucas Bridges finished third twice, while Xavier Smith recorded a third-place finish also on the day. Brandon Franks recorded 3 wins in the 125 shifter class, with John Carraro Jr., Shannon Casey, and Ryan Lindo all finishing in second in one of the races. The Sailing Laser Standard Rig National Championships concluded with Cameron Pimentel crowned champion. After 8 races, Pimentel, who competed for Bermuda in the recently concluded Central American Caribbean Games in Mexico, finished with 11 net points. Malcolm Smith finished in second with 14 net points. In third was Owen Cease, who recorded 20 net points, while Brett Wright finished fourth with 29 net points. Kaylin Hillier rounded out the top 5 finishers with 30 net points. Sanctioned by the Bermuda Bicycle Association, the Hell of North Shore cyclocross race took place at Shelley Bay Beach Park yesterday. The course was designed and accommodated mountain bikes, road bikes, and cyclocross bikes. Dominique Mayo won the elite race division, with Darren Doling winning the novice men's race division. Manning Smith won the 7 to 9 age group race division. Jason Shrub and his Bates University men's squash teammates kicked off the new year with a big win over Stanford University 8-1. Shrub, playing in the number 7 spot, defeated his opponent, Peter Sorwait, 3-0. Shrub won the first set 13-11 and then won the second set 11-8 before closing out the match, winning the third set 12-10. I'm Earl Baisden reporting for VSB Sports.
Looking at the weather for Tuesday, January the 6th, there will be sunny periods, 1 or 2 morning showers, with a few showers overnight. Winds will be northerly, light to moderate, becoming variably light in the afternoon, settling southwesterly and moderate overnight. We are expecting a high near 72 Fahrenheit and a low near 64 Fahrenheit. This weather report is the courtesy of the Bermuda Weather Service. Thanks for watching VSB News Online for Monday, January the 5th. I'm Charles Webb.